those neighbors? The ones that don't quite fit? The ones that make the hairs on your arms stand up for no reason at all? That was her. The woman at 23 Willow Lane. I don't know when she moved in exactly. It was like one day the house was empty and the next she was just there. She didn't introduce herself, didn't make a fuss. I only noticed because of my dog, Bandit. He was a good boy, friendly, never barked unless something was wrong. But the first time he saw her, he lost it. Hackles raised, snarling, baring his teeth like she was some kind of predator. And she just stood there, watching from her porch, her face completely blank. She was old, but not fragile. Her skin was stretched tight, no wrinkles, no emotion. Her eyes were too dark, too deep. I remember thinking they looked like holes in her face. I told Bandit to calm down, tried to tug him away, but he wouldn't stop growling. And that's when she smiled at me. This slow, knowing smile, like she understood something I didn't. And then, the next morning, Bandit was dead. Nothing violent, no signs of sickness. He was just stiff, cold, lying in the exact same spot where he'd seen her. I tried not to think too much of it. Dogs die. It happens. But then my cat, Jasper, he followed a week later. Same thing. Healthy one day, gone the next. No blood, no wounds, just dead. And it wasn't just my pets. My sister came over for dinner 2 nights after Jasper died. She was fine when she arrived. By the time she left, she was pale and clammy. She could barely keep her eyes open. By morning, she was in the hospital with some kind of infection that doctors couldn't even explain. My mother came by a week later. She collapsed in my kitchen, blood clot in the lung, and she's still in recovery. I started to feel it too. The exhaustion, the headaches, the weight in my chest, like something was pressing down on me. Every time I stepped inside my house, the air felt wrong, stagnant. Every shadow seemed darker than it should have been. And then the dream started. At first it was just her, standing at the foot of my bed, staring. I'd wake up, my heart pounding. She'd be gone, but they got worse. I'd dream of her crawling into my chest, her fingers digging into my skin. Her mouth would open too wide, her breath burning hot as she whispered things I couldn't understand. And then she'd climb inside me. I could feel her beneath my skin, pressing against my ribs, twisting my insides like she was trying to wear me. I'd wake up grasping, scratching at my arms, my stomach, trying to rip her out, only to find nothing there. I started avoiding home, sleeping at friends' places when I could, staying late at work. It didn't matter. Every time I returned, I just felt worse. Like something's been waiting for me. And then, I got hit by a car. I don't even remember stepping into the street. One second I was walking, the next, I'm on the pavement. Pain shooting through every part of me. I was in the hospital for days. Broken ribs, fractured arm, concussion. They told me I was lucky. Lucky. When I finally got back home, there's a note slipped under my door. You should have looked both ways. No name, no return address, but I knew it was her. I lost it. I didn't care how sick I was, how much it hurt to move. I stormed over to her house. I pounded on the door. Nothing. No answer. The lights were off, the curtains were drawn, but the door wasn't locked. So I went inside. It was empty. Not just abandoned. Empty. No furniture. belongings, no dishes in the sink, just dust and silence. Except for one thing. A doll. It was lying in the middle of the floor, small and hand-stitched, the hair on the head. It was mine. I knew it was mine, tied up with a little red string. And next to it, a tiny metal toy car, positioned right on top. I don't remember leaving. I don't even remember running back home, locking my doors, barricading myself inside. I don't remember anything except the feeling in my chest, like my ribs were closing in, like something was inside me, laughing. I don't sleep anymore. I don't dream. But sometimes, in the middle of the night, I wake up gasping. Not because of a nightmare, because I can feel her standing